Now, just before the titles in our little video, you will have seen some super fast cars flying around Silverstone.
Yes, and if you're really paying attention, you will have spotted a multi-screen simulator.
Yeah, so super fast cars.
Simulator.
24-hour race.
Simulator.
Silverstone racetrack.
Simulator. What? How do we have to explain this?
We've been asked to meet on the start-finish straight of Britain's most famous Grand Prix motor racing circuit, Silverstone.
Wow.
Polly, Jason and Jon, in just 2 weeks' time, you will be back here to compete in the annual 24-hour Britcar motor race, going up against top racing drivers in their 200-mile-per-hour GT machines.
Awesome! However, as this is the Gadget Show, your car will not be real, but virtual and running on a simulated version of the same Silverstone track. I love it.
Yes, your challenge is to complete more laps of your virtual circuit over 24 hours than the racing drivers can manage on their tarmac one.
For me, it was a bit of deja vu, because a while back I'd taken on ex-Formula One star Johnny Herbert in a real versus virtual car challenge and won.
The geeks won!
However, the concentration required had been immense, and it had only been a single lap race. Right now, the thought of that going on for hour after hour was beyond comprehension.
If Jason had problems, he should have been in our boots. Under strict race rules, we'd be forced to share the driving duties. But unlike Mr. Bradbury, Polly and I aren't accomplished gamers.
Yes!
Yes! So the prospect of total failure was very real.
You know, seriously, you've really got to nail the mindset and the skills of simulated racing.
And you need to come up with the best gaming tech possible so that we can take this straight through to the finish line.
Polly and Jon were absolutely right. Tech that would keep us fully immersed in the gaming experience was crucial to our challenge. I decided to kick off my search by looking at Silverstone's very own iZone driving simulator.
And this is where drivers of all abilities are brought to improve their game. And I've got to tell you, it feels to me like an actual car in every way.
Everything about the rig, the controls, the wraparound screen, and particularly the constant movement provided by the 5 electromagnetic actuators made it so close to driving a real car, I didn't even have to think about staying focused.
Oh, I can feel it just pulling on me there.
It was exactly what we needed.
It's like a really rough massage in a very dodgy boudoir. Trouble is, that simulator was built bespoke for the Silverstone circuit at a cost of £120,000. And according to Gadget Show challenge rules, our sim really has got to be built using regular consumer tech.
While Jason was worrying about the hardware, a lack of driving skills was my biggest issue. But maybe this man could help. Meet racing driver Jan Mardenborough. He's going to teach me how to handle a real racing car. Because if I could learn how to go fast on a proper track, maybe I'd be equally fast on a simulated one. And if you think the two talents don't cross over, then perhaps I should explain that Jan got to race real cars purely as a result of his Gran Turismo 5 driving abilities. Earlier this year, he beat 90,000 other gaming hopefuls to win the GT Academy competition, and with it, the chance of a real racing career. After a few laps alongside my Lewis Hamilton lookalike, it was my go.
On the brakes, off the brakes, turn in, squeeze on the power, not too much, squeeze it on, squeeze it, whoa! Right, that was good, that was the third, but you just got on the power slightly too early.
While Polly was sorting out her driving skills, my concern was the physical effect of hours at the simulated wheel. So I paid a visit to Silverstone's fitness team. They list Formula One drivers amongst their clients, so they'd know if I was up to the job. And using some state-of-the-art tech, they began by finding out what proportion of fat and muscle I was carrying around.
You're up at 19.6% body fat. Now, we'd expect a Formula One racing driver to be down at 10 or 11%, or even less. But no, for your age, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Gosh, thank you very much. However, wrestling a racing car around a track also demands good upper body strength, and luckily they had the tech to assess that too. As well as the effects of high-speed corners on your neck muscles.
Must be hell being a racing driver.
Though I was generally fit, I was weedy by F1 standards, and when it came to testing my reactions on the high-tech BATAC board, it was clear that I was no Sebastian Vettel.
Racing the clock here, want at least 1 a second.
Oh, do you? Damn.
Meanwhile, I was looking at another important piece of the puzzle, finding the right game to mirror Britcar's race conditions.
There's a huge array of driving simulators available to the discerning armchair racing fan, but only 3 of them stand out for this challenge. First up, Forza 4. Graphically, it's gorgeous. It's got the right tracks, the right cars, but it doesn't have a night mode. Next up, Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed. Again, graphically, it's beautiful. It's got a night mode, but you can only race a total of 99 laps. So, R Factor. Graphically not as complex as the other 2, but it's got the right tracks, it's got the right cars, it's got a full 24-hour race mode. It's easily the best fit, so that's what I'll be using.
So, I'd found the right game, Polly had found the right way around a racetrack, and Jon had found out he wasn't fit enough to be in Formula 1. But he was willing to give his all for our simulated drive. It seemed we were on course to tackle our 24-hour endurance challenge.
Oh, so it's shaping up really nicely. But guys, 24 hours. Yeah. It's so enjoyable. I mean, he's used to gaming for a long period of time, but you two have actually got a line.
I know, that's what worried me a lot, because it was, the health check was reassuring, but could I stay concentrated for that number of hours? I wasn't sure.
Not long to find out.
Welcome back. Now, let's talk microwaves. If you've seen my culinary skills displayed on the Gadget Show over the past couple of years, you know that I'm a massive fan of eating out. But if I am forced to cook, my gadget of choice is the microwave. Nowadays, they do a lot more than just heating up frozen meals. They come with grills, halogen heaters, and steamers. But are they ready to replace the good old-fashioned cooker? I've been finding out. The microwave has been around for decades, and we have come to rely on it to cook and reheat all number of meals every single day. And that's where the problem lies. You see, they're forever being associated with ready meals, defrosting, or reheating last night's pizza. However, the latest brand spanking generation are geared to cook up some top quality food with all manner of clever cooking methods. And to test some of the best, I've got together 3 of the latest and greatest from LG, Samsung, and Whirlpool. But as I'm pretty much useless in the kitchen, I've got in some culinary help from 2011 MasterChef champion Tim Anderson, who had kindly agreed to help me put them through their paces. So what would be the ultimate test for a microwave if you're comparing it with a traditional oven?
Well, I think it would have to be a traditional roast dinner.
Okay.
A roast dinner is actually quite a sophisticated piece of cookery. It's got a lot of different times and temperatures. So I think that if a microwave can pull off a roast dinner, then I'd be impressed.
With our meal choice sorted, we booted up all our microwaves, got 3 sets of identical ingredients, consisting of a prime cut of beef and potatoes, followed by our greens, broccoli, carrots, and sprouts, which we would cook separately.
That's good technique, actually.
Thank you very much. I've watched a lot of army films. Our plan was to cook the 3 meals using just the microwaves. Compared to conventional ones, these models combined the best technology from both an oven and a microwave to cook the meals in a fraction of the time. It was time to get cooking. And our first microwave had a trick up its sleeve. Whilst all our microwaves had preset heating modes for different types of food, the Samsung also weighs what you place inside to calculate the precise cooking time, just like it did for our beef and potatoes. Estimated cooking time, 28 minutes. That's it.
That's amazing. 28 minutes?
28 minutes for a roast.
I'll be so impressed if this comes out.
Yeah, you and me both. With the food on its way in the Samsung, we loaded our ingredients into our second microwave from LG. So let's see how easy it is. Okay, here we are, roast beef. The LG uses what it calls light wave technology. It utilizes its charcoal grill heater to give off intense temperatures to give as even a cook as possible. And again, this had an amazingly short cooking time.
27 minutes.
You don't like relinquishing so much control over to the microwave, do you? You're uncomfortable with that.
This is all new to me.
With the LG left to its own devices, we loaded our food into the final microwave, the Whirlpool Jet Chef. The cheapest of our 3, the Whirlpool Jet Chef uses what it calls the 6th sense cooking method, which constantly monitors conditions inside the oven, adjusting the cooking time accordingly. Okay, with this one, it was slower setting it up. It wasn't instantly obvious to me what buttons I should be pressing. Our beef was finally done, so we set our gravy going and assessed the meat. First up, the Samsungs.
Feeling exceptionally well done, but let's find out. It's actually looking not bad. It's better than I thought.
Next was LG's.
Whoa. For me, this is perfect. Beautifully brown on the outside, beautifully pink on the inside. It's gonna be tender and juicy.
And finally, the Whirlpools.
Nice and pink, nice and brown on the outside. I would eat this any day of the week.
When it came to the vegetables, 2 of the microwaves had tricks up their sleeves. The LG and the Whirlpool came with accessories that allow you to steam your greens.
Looks good.
Okay. Whereas the Samsung, well, you just pop it in and wait for the ping. While we were putting the finishing touches to our 3 dishes, our guest judge had arrived. Food critic James Day. Tough, uncompromising, and completely unaware that we prepared his dishes in microwaves. First up for James was meal 1 from Samsung.
Fairly a little bit tough.
Had the Samsung's pre-programmed cooking methods misjudged our beef?
The flavour?
What about the veg?
Slightly under. Yeah.
Next, it was time to see if LG's microwave roast could impress.
Good colour on the beef.
Okay.
Nicely rare.
So the meat was a winner, but had LG's steam accessory done the trick for the veg as well?
Good flavour.
And finally, it was the chance for the Whirlpool to delight James's taste buds.
Again, good colour. Quite tender.
Again, the meat went down well, but would he appreciate the steamed veg?
Again, nice texture.
Now it was time for the verdict. Would you be able to pick out a standout winner?
I think overall, I think it's 2.
Dish 2.
Based on the colour and the texture of the meat and the balance and the texture of the veg.
So the LG had won, but there was one more shock still left to come. The entire dish, bar the gravy, was done in a microwave.
Really?
Yes. And after that thorough grilling, it was time for the G ratings. 3 Gs for the Samsung. It had a great user interface but failed to produce a respectable roast. It's also 3 Gs for the Whirlpool. It cooked a good beef joint but didn't impress James. But the real winner was the LG with 4 Gs. It cooked all the elements of the roast to near perfection.
Right then, it's that time of the year where we want to know what's your gadget of 2011. We've compiled a list of the 10 gadgets that we think have been the most innovative, jaw-dropping, inspiring tech and have made the biggest impact on us this year. But it's up to you to decide which is the best. Log on to channel5.com/Gadget Show to cast your vote. And we'll announce the winner right here on the Gadget Show in our Best of Show at the end of the series.
Right, now it's back to this week's main event. And what an event! Team Gadget, consisting of Polly, Jason and I, had entered the 24-hour Britcar endurance race at Silverstone. But while the other drivers would be thundering around the circuit in 500 horsepower GT racing cars, we decided that was all a bit last year. So we'd entered a virtual car. And as we rejoin the action, race day has arrived.
It was the day of the race, and the famous Silverstone circuit was packed, as all the teams busily prepared for one of the biggest motor racing events of the year. And as we arrived, we all felt satisfied we'd done what we could to prepare for this huge undertaking.
Our challenge was to complete as many virtual laps of Silverstone as we could in 24 hours, just like the real racers taking on the real track.
Joe, in fact, there's only one piece of the puzzle that still remains.
Step into booth 4A. You're going to love this.
Wow.
Check out your ride for the next 24 hours.
A go on Silverstone's bespoke simulator brought home how important movement is to the driver's alertness. This consumer-grade VRX iMotion works on a similar system, using electromagnetic actuators to replicate all the accelerating, braking and cornering forces of a real car.
Made out of aircraft-grade stainless steel, real seat in there. Even the sound is a virtual 5.1 setup from Bose. Logitech G27 steering wheel, full leather. You've got your paddle options. You can see aluminium foot pedals.
Yep.
And you can see the display wrap around 3-screen display from an NVIDIA GTX 590.
Jace, I seriously think You brought it.
But I still wasn't finished, because just like a proper race team, our rig came with a mechanic.
Please meet Ben Zenon. Ben knows everything there is to know about this. It's going to run as smoothly as a Swiss watch, right?
Swiss watch on steroids, I think, yes.
Oh, what I like to hear.
And Ben would also look after the software side, making sure our R-Factor game constantly imitated the different light and weather conditions the real cars would face. Talking of which...
Ben, please reveal our choice.
Aston Martin DBR9.
John, a good choice?
Oh, I think it's a great choice, Barney. You handle that rear end and all that power going through it.
OK.
58 cars had entered the Britcar event, each one hoping to complete the most laps over the 24-hour period. And in virtual terms, our powerful Aston Martin certainly gave us a chance of being up there with the leaders come the end.
But right now, the beginning of the race was our priority, because the 4:30 p.m. start was just minutes away. Along with the real race team who were sharing our pit garage, everyone was now making their way out onto the grid.
As our #1 gamer, Jason would take the first 3-hour stint behind the wheel, the maximum any one driver is permitted to do under the race rules.
Wow, I'm really nervous. I don't know why am I so nervous. I can't get hurt. I mean, how ridiculous.
While Jason was taking up position on his virtual start line, I was getting ready on the real one because I'd been asked to get the main race underway.
I can hear him revving. I can hear him revving up. This is it, John.
The Britcar race gets underway with a rolling start. So, after a parade lap, the virtual and real cars were off.
Go, 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 go. Go, go, go! This is it!
And straight away, I was having problems.
That's my tyres. That's my brakes. The brakes are so cold.
Like the real cars, we wouldn't have the benefit of any driver assists. On top of that, we wouldn't be alone on our virtual track.
We're getting pushed from behind.
OK, we weren't actually racing these cars, but they could still mess up our progress.
I can't brake. I didn't do it on purpose.
Endurance banger racing with DB9. 5 minutes down, 23 hours, 55 minutes to go.
Oh, don't say that, man.
But as the laps went by, things started to calm down.
OK, I'm getting into my swing a bit now.
75 minutes in, and our first pit stop was due.
Where's the pit? Which button is that?
Middle left.
Our car couldn't carry enough fuel for 3 hours solid racing, so these would become a regular part of our driving routines, and each would cost us around 90 seconds, the same as a real car.
That's it. First pit stop, absolutely beautiful.
With long driving stints ahead, Polly and I headed off for a rest, leaving Jason to battle on his virtual track.
Nail it. Nail it down Wellington straight.
While the real cars fought for position outside.
And the next few hours passed incredibly quickly, so it came as a bit of a surprise to find that my session was up. And Polly was ready to take over the driving.
Right, you ready, babe?
Don't have no nails left. Yeah, I'm ready, honey. Thanks, babe.
Oh, 3 hours, man. 3 hours, baby. Good luck, Polly. Great pitch.
Thanks,
She's off already. Oh, God.
I'd driven my socks off and clocked up 79 laps, but where did that put us in the race?
This is the race leader here, look. Car number 2, position 1. He's on lap 81. That's amazing. That means we're only 2 laps off the race leader. That's superb.
Just like Jason, I discovered that the car took time to warm up after stops.
I've got cold tyres, so I'm having to take it quite steady.
However, slowly but surely, I built up speed and soon started recording lap times of around 2 minutes 20 seconds, about race pace for the leading cars out on the track. Not bad for an amateur gamer. But my upbeat mood didn't last, because about halfway through my session, I made a simple but costly mistake.
I didn't really notice the petrol sign on the top left-hand corner of the screen telling me I'm almost out of fuel.
I was stranded out on the track with no way to get back to the pits for fuel. Had I wrecked our challenge just a few hours after the race had begun?
Oh, no! Polly, thousands of men all over the country shouting, typical woman! How could you?
Do you know, I was just so engrossed in my laps and my line that I wasn't really looking at things flashing on the rest of the screen.
You never done that in real life?
You know, we've all done it. And it happens in reality, in real races it happens, because drivers, you know, sometimes don't do what they're supposed to do.
And it certainly wasn't remotely funny at the time, because you were stuck on the side of the track and the real race was going on all those laps.
I know!
Counting down.
No, and every issue that you face, of course, you're creating a real chance of failure.
Yeah.
More Britcar racing after the break. And also, join me on my 2-hour holiday. Welcome back, and now it's time for a top 5, and we're talking photo books, and I am a big fan. I love digital photography, but there is a danger that you end up with thousands of images stored on your memory cards. Of course, back in the day when we used film, we'd print the photos out and put them in albums. But these days, photo books that you design and order online have become the modern-day equivalent. But which ones are best? Well, to find out, I took a little holiday. But no 2-week holiday for me. Instead, I'd have to make do with a 2-hour one. However, that wasn't going to stop me from trying to cram in a fortnight's worth of fun into my flying visit to Weston-super-Mare. And I want to capture every wonderful moment on film, so I better get going then. First up, well, any trip to the seaside should include a donkey or two. Oh, time for another holiday must. It's freezing! What am I doing? Next, I headed to Weston's famous pier. Thank you. I've just realised I'm halfway through my holiday and I haven't had anything to eat yet. I feel quite sick now. Then there was just time to visit the sand sculptures, the aquarium, Weston's big wheel, and take a quick walk down the seafront. And that was it. Vacation over. The next day, I sat down to start making my online photo books. Prices depend on things like the size of the album, the number of photos, the quality of the paper, and the type of cover. So, in order to make a fair comparison, I'm going for photo books that all cost around about the £30 mark. Finally, I was done. 15 photo books ordered up from 15 different companies. There we go. As easy as that.
Hey, where was my invite?
What was my holiday?
You're on your own.
Best holiday ever. Right, we need to get the top 5 photo books. Okay. So I've beautifully laid them out around the studio. I want you to go and have a look. Image quality, layout, and then we're going to mark them out of 10. All the books took about 2 weeks to be delivered.
Nice glossy cover, nice hardback.
I think this blurb one is very satisfying to sort of look at as a book. It feels very good in the hand.
But differed wildly in terms of image quality, colour. I don't like this. Look at my hair's green.
Take it out.
Let's not put this in the top 5. Layout.
Can you see how here the print quality
Yeah,
is not great?
I like that fish's front cover.
And paper quality.
It reeks quality, doesn't it?
Even the fact it's even got that.
That picture as well. It's so lifelike. It represents the skin tone, the body shape.
But in the end, we had to whittle the books down to 5. And after much deliberation...
Chuck it down at least 7, maybe touching an 8.
It 7.
What do you think? Oh, good work.
We had our top 5. And in at number 5, we chose Jessup's offering.
This Jessup's one here has got much more vibrancy on the blue sky.
So we like Jessup's. At number 4, Apple's photo book.
Look at the difference there. I much prefer this. You can see the texture.
At number 3, the Photo Creator book. The paper quality is excellent.
Paper quality is really good.
I love the edging as well. Yep. Sort of like faux leather thing going on.
Number 2, My Photo Book.
I think that feels like quite a more tasteful production.
Sorry. Yeah,
I agree. The
agree.
binding and so on, and the picture quality looks good.
And our number 1 photo book was the Elle Belly.
I must admit, I think the clarity and the colours on there are fantastic.
That is true skin tone.
I like that. I think the Elle Belly pictures look good, actually.
So the Elle Belly is our number 1 photo book. And if you liked my photos from Weston-super-Mare...
I did.
Good. Then you're in luck, because we are giving away this book in our competition.
Ooh.
Right, time to head back to the racing.
Yes, this week, Jon, Polly and I have taken part in a quite extraordinary challenge, the 24-hour Britcar race around Silverstone.
But while all the other teams were in real cars, we were racing a virtual one.
We were indeed. So as we head back to the action, we're only about 5 hours into the race. However, we have hit a major problem. Yes, idiot here has forgot to put fuel in the car. So we're currently sat on the circuit with an empty tank. This was not just a question of hitting a button and carrying on. The only solution was a lengthy game reset, which was akin to a pit crew dashing out and pushing the car back to the pits, where it could be refueled. While I waited, the competition continued to clock up the laps. Finally, I was able to get going again, but the damage had been done because we'd lost another 3 laps to the leader. All I could do now was try to complete my session without any further errors.
While Polly was doing everything to focus, I was doing everything to chill out.
Welcome to my Zen zone. You see, I'm not the kind of guy that finds it easy to relax. And so I thought I'd use some technology to see if I could actually chill out a little bit and recoup some of the energy that I'm going to need for my next 3-hour session.
Starting with the Laxman Entertainment System that combines an array of soothing colours with complementary sounds.
I thought it was a load of nonsense and I was going to rubbish it. I thought it'd be funny. But you know what? It's brilliant. I'm finding it hard to chat because I just want to drift away in a world of strawberries. My strawberries.
And the stress eraser was also helpful. It measures the pulse in your finger and then cues you when to breathe and how deeply to obtain maximum relaxation.
Well, I think I'm ready for a little bit of a kip. But before then, I must introduce you to my little abode here, trackside at Silverstone.
The £500,000 country coach Magna.
It's not so much a mobile home as a mobile mansion. This is a driver's area and passenger seat. Both do full massage, 32-inch flat screen, moving through the lounge area, 2 leather sofas, fully fitted kitchen, dining room there, massive fridge, water machine, shower, and my favourite bit, the master bedroom. Look at that, great big double bed. You name it, this place has got it. But unfortunately, that's it for you, okay? Yeah, I've done my 3 hours. I need a little bit of me time, thank you.
Back on the simulator, I was feeling the pressure of driving for so long.
That last corner is getting sloppy. Not good.
So it was a relief to find my session was nearly over and Jon ready to take over the helm.
I don't think I've ever concentrated that hard. And we're out.
As I prepared to get going, I have to admit I wasn't looking forward to the next 3 hours of my life. Like the drivers outside, I knew that this, the midnight stretch, was the most dangerous part of any 24-hour race.
Wow! I've got legs.
Virtual game playing is not my forte, so I could easily destroy the hopes of the team.
Not a very good start.
And my apprehension only increased when I discovered that in spite of Polly's refuelling error, she'd otherwise driven superbly. So we were only 5 laps behind the leader.
Can only get better.
And to my surprise, it did, because just a few minutes later, I was rather enjoying myself. In spite of the constant activity in the pit garage and the spectators around me, I became truly immersed in the game. My only objective, to achieve better and better lap times.
By now, I was back at our plush motorhome.
Now, unlike Jason, I will have absolutely no problem winding down. However, I may have a problem waking up. So I've got some gadgets to test that will make sure I don't miss my next shift at the wheel.
Like the Lumi Body Clock Active, this light slowly intensifies just like a proper sunrise, so you wake up gradually, and that apparently prepares your body perfectly for the day ahead.
I'm also going to be wearing this, the Zeo Sleep Manager, which charts your sleep cycle and then Bluetooths the information to your iPod or your iPhone, so that when you wake up, you can actually find out how long you've slept for and how deeply. Now, knowing the amount of rest I'm getting could be very important information as this challenge wears on.
While the real cars continued to pound round Silverstone in total darkness, I was reaching the end of my darkened drive. Contrary to my somewhat negative outlook 3 hours earlier, the whole experience had been hugely satisfying. But far more importantly, I'd not disgraced the team.
Oh, you got some great times in there, man. I can see 2:09. Excellent.
In fact, I'd actually managed to claw back 3 laps on the leader, so we were now only 2 behind.
And a beautiful pit stop, look at that.
Splendid.
Hey, well done, man. Really excellent work.
Get
some sleep now, Jon.
Oh, thank you very much. Great.
Well, that was a real surprise. I expected it to be possibly just a little bit tedious, but actually I can really understand now why people go endurance racing. The time just seems to disappear.
My second session was now underway, and perhaps spurred on by the brilliant performances of my non-gaming teammates, I put together the best spell of virtual driving I've ever managed.
Ben? Yeah? Any tea, mate?
Yeah. For lap after lap, my times hit 2 minutes 10 seconds, equaling the fastest recorded by the real drivers. And at one point, I completely blitzed Silverstone's Grand Prix circuit in 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
In fact, Jason's amazing spell didn't just keep us in the running, but at 3:15 in the morning, actually took us into the lead of the race.
Oh, yes.
And by the time I took over, we were an incredible 8 laps ahead of the quickest track car.
Next, just like that. But put in some absolutely stonking times. I got 1:2:03, which I'm very, very pleased with. By far my best 3 hours by a long shot.
It was a lead we were determined not to relinquish. First, Polly put in a fault-free drive, taking us through to sunrise. And then I managed to follow it up with an equally competent display. So, while we couldn't match Jason's blistering pace, by mid-morning we still had a healthy lead over our #1 rival, the blue and white Ferrari.
We're about 6 laps ahead.
Oh, you're kidding me.
We were now 18 hours into the race and feeling pretty exhausted. But if we could just hold on for another 6 hours, then maybe we could actually succeed in this challenge.
However, what we didn't know then was that waiting for us around the corner was a racing driver's worst nightmare. A massive crash.
Oh, man!
No.
Problems!
Yeah, so first of all, you ran out of fuel, and then there's going to be a massive crash.
So is that it? Over?
Well, I certainly thought it was all over.
Yeah, all I would say is this is a 24-hour endurance race and there are several hours still to go.
Oh, they've got a glint in their eye and it's all coming up after the break. Please be a fast break. Welcome back. Now, if you have a penchant for a mahoosive crescendo, we might be able to help.
Loving that. Lovely poetic language there, Suzi. What Suzi's referring to is the climax of this week's challenge featuring myself, Polly and Jon, recently at Silverstone.
Yeah, you see, these three got together and formed Team Gadget and entered the Britcar 24-hour endurance race. But, of course, being Team Gadget, they were racing a virtual car.
Yes, OK, so our race so far had not been without incidents. No. Little did we know that Polly was about to face a mahoosive crash.
Despite the disaster of running out of fuel earlier in the race, we battled back, and Jason's final stint on the simulator passed without incident. We are now an astonishing 6 virtual laps ahead of the real race leader.
With Jason getting close to the next changeover, I was preparing to take over. Like everyone, I was now feeling pretty exhausted. And the Zeo sleep manager I'd strapped on earlier confirmed I'd not got much rest.
OK, so 3 hours sleep, and most of that was light.
But tiredness aside, with a decent lead...
Go, Polly! Go get him, girl!
The mood in Team Gadget's camp was positively buoyant.
Which is precisely how it stayed until just 2.5 hours before the end of the race, when the unthinkable happened.
All of a sudden, I was just driving around the track and it cuts out. Eek!
Our system had crashed. We'd suffered a massive virtual breakdown.
Where's Ben?
Our mechanic Ben, who had just popped out to take a toilet break, rushed back and after some investigation gave us the news that the computer running the R-Factor game had completely failed.
OK.
It was a disaster. Like all good race teams, we brought along a spare, but it would take over 10 minutes to reprogram the unit with all the car track and race condition settings.
Am I going to have cold tyres once I get back?
Oh, yeah.
OK.
And while that was going on, our hard-fought-for lead simply evaporated because the real race leader had continued to churn out the laps.
After what seemed like an age, we were back on the road again. But unfortunately, with Jason's final drive over, we couldn't rely on him to fight for our survival.
Are you ready, Jon?
I'm ready, yes. So the outcome of our marathon virtual challenge would rest in the hands of a virtual non-gamer. Me.
Put simply, we were now neck and neck with the race leader. So if we were going to win, Jon had to drive faster than his much more experienced competitor out on the track and keep doing this for lap after lap until the checkered flag came out.
So that's exactly what I tried to do. And slowly but surely, the minutes counted down to the 4:30 finish.
We're 3 minutes left. 3 minutes to drive now.
Oh, what do I do?
Go for it, mate.
Right, okay.
Nice, nice and smooth, John. Beautiful. Go on, Johnny.
Right,
He just holds on to it. You're in the last minute, John.
Excellent. Going
Hold
good.
the lines.
So near. 24 hours, can you believe that? You just see through the pits, everyone lined up watching the cars as they're literally about to come over the line. And here we are in our little garage doing exactly the same thing, I know. Ah, beautiful.
This is it.
That's it! And we're crossing the line! Look, we're crossing the line at the very moment in time! Johnny Boy! And he crossed the line at exactly the moment! That was incredible!
Oh, right.
Well done, John!
Very good.
Well driven, my friend!
Oh, well done, you. Excellent.
Wow!
So our race was over, but what was our lap total?
Between the three of you, 578 laps total.
578. So that figure needs to be higher than
Higher
whatever
than
the
what's on
race
the
winner of the
screen.
Britcar out down the real track.
Okay,
Yeah.
578.
So this is the result screen. This is the winner, 573.
573, which is...
So we've actually taken him.
Clear!
Yeah.
5 laps!
We won it!
Team, seriously, high fives all round.
Great.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Excellent. Well done.
We'd driven a total of 2,115 miles over 24 hours, and although we'd not risked our lives like the real drivers, we were still immensely proud of our achievement.
Woo! Hey, well done, team!
5 laps, guys.
5 laps, man! Victory! Check it out! Woo!
Ready for the pink and fizzy?
It's from the top of the podium. That's all we've got time for this week. We'll see you next time.